Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for you to join me on this journey of reading The Mender's Curse. Let's jump right in. Chapter 1, Liam, year 2364. Immortality has a way of turning even the most formidable man into a monster. If the masses knew immortality was possible, I wouldn't need to search for the antidote. The Republic would have found the fire-tipped sparrow, and I would be rotting away in a cell with no end to this life in sight. When I hear the scurry of boots over wooden planks and shouts from above, it feels as if hundreds of years have passed. My hair is stuck to the side of my face, and my stomach churns with hunger. The journey to Khiva by ship is not long, but I am eager to see what the city has to offer me. I gather one of my clean cream-colored tunics and robe to match. The robe has deteriorated over the years, but it is convincing enough. The archives will not allow me to enter if I do not wear the Republic's Mender uniform. Most Menders never trade their robes for common folk clothing, but neither do most Menders leave the Republic. The warmth from the mending stone embedded in the dainty gold chain around my neck reminds me of the power that allows me to heal others. I give one quick look at the glass on the wall before departing. The same face stares back at me. I don't know why I expect the image to change when it has not for centuries. My hand quickly runs through the blonde waves that reach my shoulders. Good enough. I take one last look at myself in the Republic's Mender's robes and shudder. It's merely a disguise, I remind myself. As long as I'm in Amaria, I need to play by their rules. I grab my bag of belongings and hoist it over my shoulders. Glass bottles of potions clink against each other as the texts fall to the bottom of the pack. The captain shouts, "Last call!" and I quietly climb the ladder to the main deck. Sunshine warms my face, while scents of fried oysters, lager, and salt reach my nostrils. Khiva has never been my favorite city to visit, and today is no exception. The bay is full of vessels and merchants alike. I step over crates filled with spices, sugar, and seeds as I disembark. The captain gives me a quick nod as I step off the deck and onto the dock. We have been acquaintances for years. He knows the drill. I'm not keen on making friends these days, but he has proven to be a sufficient ally. I subtly lay a bag of coins on the bow, my payment for his discretion. Merchants and sailors fill the harbor as trading day has just begun. A young lad steps in front of me, offering some of the tastiest clams I will find in 100 miles. I don't doubt his claim, but I pass on the offer, having already spotted my destination in the distance. Though I am not a fan of Khiva, I can appreciate the architecture of their archives. The building sits atop the rocky city built into the side of cliffs overhanging the Sea of Rand. My eyes squint to focus as light glints off the white stone pillars of the entrance. My gaze drifts to the top of the 3-story mammoth, to the symbol of the Republic that denotes its claim on the building. The black and gold triangle represents the citadel, where the 8 princeps control every aspect of the lives of our mages and menders. The princeps determine who is worthy of a mender or mage stone, disseminating the stones only to the most wealthy and loyal subjects. It's a disgrace that such an immaculate building be branded by such an ugly symbol and an even uglier ruling body. It will take me roughly an hour to wind through the streets to reach the archives, so I grab a handful of fried oysters from the nearest cart and flip my favorite merchant a coin. He gives me the same nod as the captain. I smirk at my own cleverness. The sea-level roads of Khiva are filled with beggars and reek of rotten fish. I do my best to weave through the crowd to reach the upper tiers of the city, populated by the higher classes. Someone's tug on my sleeve stops me in my tracks. Turning around, I find a woman holding a small child in her arms. "Thank the gods! I never see menders in this part of town," she begins to sob. "My child has been ill for days, and I don't know what else to do." The child's face is clammy and pale. Most menders would need to do an incantation to diagnose, but with one glance, I can feel that he needs fiebre and thenga, 2 potions I carry in my pack to barter with and can't waste on others. Given the danger ahead, I need all the potions I can muster to keep my allies close. "I don't know what is required to help the child, and I'm duty for the Republic right now, woman," I respond with a lie. "Is it not your duty to help commoners? I know menders carries these potions with them. I have payment." She pulls out 2 coins and offers them to me. "Please, sir, he may die if he does not get your help," she pleads. "The child will suffer for 3 more days. Then the fever will either break or the child will die. The least I can do is be honest about the condition." "Curse the Republic! You can't spare 2 potions to save a life?" She sneers at me. "Yes, curse the Republic," I agree, as I turn and continue my journey up the road. I exit the sea-level roads to avoid any other distraction and enter the upper levels of the city. Within the hour, I'm at the bottom of the archive steps. 2 mages dressed in black robes pace the landing of the 2nd-floor balcony. I reach into my pack to retrieve my emblem that hangs from a black chain that all Republic-abiding menders must wear at all times. It hangs from my neck as I climb the stairs and approach the entrance. I grab 2 bottles of potions out of my pack, my bartering chips. A mender sits at the entrance and recognizes me immediately. He gives me a curt smile as I approach the desk. "Good morning, mister," he starts. No names. That was our deal. I cut him off. I give him the 2 bottles of potions in my hand and a book I picked up earlier this year from the archives in Dirkstyre. "Don't forget to," he starts again, "wear my emblem at all times and extinguish the mage lights when I'm done." "Got it," I say as I walk away from my ally, a rebel spy in Republic clothes. Not my choice, but to each their own. I spend a minute taking in the sights of the vast library. Books line the shelves of the 3-story high building. Light streams in from the windows above, revealing dust on the text spines. A few menders are studying at one of the many tables in the center of the 1st level. A stack of texts lie on their table, written by some of the most formidable menders in all of Amaria: Callahan, Stark, Ryan. They pay me no attention as I work my way up one of the spiral staircases to the 2nd level. I pass sections of texts that begin with the modern-day 2300s and make my way to the older archival texts. My feet quicken as I reach the undisturbed section near the northwest corner that I've been studying for 60 years, Menders of the 1300s. The afternoon slowly ticks by as I scan each text one by one. My bribe to the official ensures an uninterrupted afternoon and no questions about my research. I know it is not efficient, but I have all the time in the world, and the secrets of immortality will not be hidden in plain sight. Harik, my father's mentor, wanted me to find the antidote to my cursed immortality while keeping it out of the Republic's hands. My eyes begin to dry and my stomach rumbles as the sun sets and the mage lights engage above my workspace. I'm about to close the unusually small book I've been reading for the past hour when my eye catches on something in the text. The journal is quite old, even by my standards. It was written 5 years before the Amarian and Yerneti War. The author is rambling about the comings and goings of apprentice menders. The capital, Menderhana, 1347. The Republic has ordered me to occupy a position in the capital, along with my apprentice, until an opening arises in the archives of Khiva. Ingredients for potions are relatively easy to come by, especially for basic ailments. The creatures in the forest of Moran have proven to create the most unique serums for potions. Last week, Harik spotted a fire-tipped sparrow, a small black bird with wings that resembles flames, that he believes we might be able to catch. We will return tomorrow with a mage to see if she can conjure a spell to bind it. Bingo. The mage lights above my head disappear as I make my way out of the archives, holding my newest prize under the billowy cream robe. The uniform of menders is completely irrational, except for their capacity to easily smuggle texts out of the archives. Borrowing texts is not exactly acceptable to the Republic, but the rebel mender who works the desk is willing to look the other way. We have a system. My stomach growls again as I trudge down the paths I walked earlier to the closest tavern. I stuff my cream-colored robe and tunic into my sack, along with the emblem I despise. Music welcomes me as I shove the heavy wooden door open and take in the sights and sounds of a busy night at the Wayward Inn. This establishment is my safest bet, as it is well above the streets below. I go unnoticed here as the patrons have other distractions to keep them busy. This particular tavern is linked to the neighboring whorehouse, so I can go about my business without being accosted by the locals. The maid at the bar reveals a gapped-toothed smile as I approach. "What can I get for a handsome man like yourself?" she asks sweetly in her thick accent. "Fish and bread for the evening is just fine. I will wait here and require a room to retire." "Will you be wanting any company for your stay with us tonight?" She leans over the counter, exposing her chest. But I have no interest in what she's offering. "No, that is all." She promises to return with my food and key while I wait near the bar, observing the other patrons. Nearly all of the men have their hands wrapped around half-naked women, making me question my lodging decision. Most of the time, I can stomach the sight of debauchery, but tonight, I'm wondering if I'm better off in one of the sea-level shanties. Patrons are quietly enjoying their partners and drink, except for the man directly behind me. He looks out of place with his silken trousers, gold-trimmed tunic, and silver brooch attached to his purple cloak. The barmaid arrives with his food, which he samples while she waits. "Cold and tasteless," he spits in her direction. "Bring me something else." He waves her off. "Yes, of course, my lord," she mutters as she skitters away. All the men at his table stare at him, but quickly avert their eyes when anger rushes to his face. A woman stands next to him, dressed differently than the others around the tavern. She wears a gray cloak, and her onyx hair is wrapped into a thick bun atop her head. He pulls her onto his lap to straddle him, facing me. She pushes him slightly and lifts her leg as she attempts to get away, clearly uncomfortable with this situation. "Why are you being so difficult tonight?" He grabs her arm and pulls her onto his lap once more. "Maybe she's tired of you after all these years, Nelson." His neighbor to the left leans in and chuckles. "Nobody tires of me." His voice turns serious. He wraps his arm around the woman on his lap. "Right, Sapphira," he whispers in her ear. My gut rumbles again, but this time it's not hunger that gives me pangs. These types of nobles truly make me sick. The woman gives in as the maid from the bar interrupts my observations. "Your food and room, my lord." She curtsies and hands me a plate of steamed fish, warm bread, and a key. I take the plate and steal one last glance at the pair behind me. The barmaid hands a new plate of food to the nobleman and nervously averts her eyes. He scrutinizes the food and dismisses her with his hand, which is adorned with rings. I roll my eyes as I exit and find the stairs to my room. After the much-earned nourishment and drink, I spend another hour translating my newest treasure. The capital, Menderhana, Apprentice Harik, 1347. I travel with Harik at my side for our second trip to the forest of Meran to search for a fire-tip sparrow. He is progressing abnormally quickly in his studies. We have determined that the creature is one of the most cunning in the forest, even compared to the Vespertilia. Every time we thought we spotted the sparrow, it disappeared rapidly. The mage attempted a binding spell on it, but its instincts were faster than her magic. I've lived many years in Amaria, and I've traveled only once to Meran, the deadliest forest on our continent. The Republic's presence outside its border is my main deterrent, but I also prefer to avoid the magical creatures within. Being immortal doesn't mean I don't experience pain, which I already have in abundance. If Harik was attempting to catch one of these sparrows with a mage, I might need to reconsider my plans. If I need magic to catch one, I'm going to need some help. There are very few menders or mages who don't affiliate with the rebels or the Republic. People refer to us as unmarks, a term I've come to accept. Unmarked mages are not a common occurrence in Amaria. I can count them on one hand, and they are not exactly easy to locate at any given time. I don't find anything useful in the journal entry other than some common potions that the mender used to heal wounds from encounters with magical creatures. Menderhana mentions Harik a few more times before sleep steals me. Sounds of the Wayward Inn closing and its patrons returning home awaken me around midnight. I'm sweating like a dog under the thin bedsheet. Gods, I need some fresh air. Waiting for the patrons to exit, I grab my bag and exit the room. The stairs creak as I descend in the dark and make my way outside. As soon as the wind from the sea touches my face, I'm immediately relieved. A full moon lurks above and provides me with enough light to make my way down the cobbled street towards the coast. I spend a minute letting the wind whip across my body and dry the sweat on my face, but soon hear murmurings in the alley behind me. What am I doing out here in the middle of the night being so careless? Soldiers from the Republic regularly guard the walls of Khiva and threaten my journey. I begin to slink away from the strangers until I notice her onyx hair swaying in the wind. Her back is pressed against the wall as Nelson's hands seek entry into her cloak. "I'm not in the mood tonight, Nelson. I already gave you what you want," she protests. "Don't you know how much I love you? You have always enjoyed this." He raises his voice. As his hands continue to grope, she begins to struggle. I've seen many horrors in this world, so I'm not sure why I can't tear my eyes away from this one. This is none of my business and just a distraction, I tell myself as I turn to walk away. She screams, I said not today, as she tries to push him away. Watching Nelson press harder, the hairs on my arm rise, as if some sort of power emerges from the alley. After the woman swiftly knees Nelson in the thigh, he laces his hands around her throat. She wrestles against him and begins to panic. Walk away. Walk away. I have seen enough pain in my lifetime. Helping her would be a liability. I manage to convince my body to turn away just as I see something out of the corner of my eye. The whore's hands have started to glow softly as she thrashes. As he tightens his fingers around her neck, the light from her hand grows. Nelson, too, spots the magic out of the side of his eye and drops his hands. But he is one moment too late. With one swift movement, she flings her right arm across her chest, and a beam of light flashes from her hand, splitting the man in two. His body falls to the stone below with a thud. As soon as the light fades, she falls to her hands and knees, panting and wide-eyed. Nelson's blood spills onto the cobbled street, painting everything in its path crimson. A mage? A whore who is an unmarked mage? I know every single unmarked mage in Mender, and she definitely isn't one of them. Her eyes fill with horror as she glances my way, realizing that her magic did not go unnoticed. In the next few seconds, I can tell she's calculating her options. Illegal magic performed without a mage emblem and the Republic's permission is punishable by death. Her little act of self-preservation could cost her her life unless she removes the witness, me. Her eyes fill with horror as she glances my way, realizing that her magic did not go unnoticed. In the next few seconds, I can tell she's calculating her options. Illegal magic performed without a mage emblem and the Republic's permission is punishable by death. Her little act of self-preservation could cost her her life unless she removes the witness, me. I'm not stupid enough to go toe-to-toe with a mage, let alone an untrained one that emits that kind of power. I've never seen the kind of magic she's using, magic that could prove even more dangerous. Before she can rise to her feet, I snag a potion from my bag and thrust it above my head as a peace offering. Her eyes dart toward the potion and back at me. A mender? She whispers, wiping her blood-stained hands on her gray tunic. And a mage practicing illegal magic, I reply and stroll in her direction. What if it is your business? She responds as she gathers her bearings and assumes a fighting stance, her hands raised in front of her torso, ready to spew another uncontrolled spell. My mind swirls. My cover is as much at stake as is hers, but I didn't just murder one of the Kievan nobles, and I just so happen to need the services of a mage. It's my business because I have an offer for you, I respond with my potion still in the air, as if the Republic's army is storming down the streets to arrest me. The last thing I need is her to publicly unleash more magic, exposing both of us. What kind of offer can an unmarked mender make to an unmarked mage? She pants between heavy breaths. I would catch the sparrow with magic if I could, but my stone allows me only to mend. Unfortunately, the power of a mage is my only hope for finding what I need. You know who that is, right? I point to the dead body at her feet. Of course I do. She wipes her brow and narrows her eyes at me. He's been my master for 25 years, she admits. So you are aware that the entire city is going to search for his assassin, yes? And once they determine he was last seen with you, it won't take long till you're in their custody. The dagger at your thigh, along with your mage stone, will fall into the Republic's hands, and you will be hanged. The mage glances at her leg, where her stone lives, its energy radiating with every step I take towards her. I have her attention, so I continue. I'm traveling to the forest of Moran. I need a mage to help me capture a creature there, but the road is dangerous. I tell the truth. We will need to make it past the capital and through the Kindara mountain range, I emphasize. But you need safe passage out of this city, as you just assaulted one of its most powerful noblemen. I didn't assault him. I murdered him. She diverts her eyes back to the crime scene and is suddenly filled with horror. Her hands find her face, and she begins to pace in front of me nervously. Yes, you killed a man, but you didn't seem too attached to him earlier tonight. She glances at me, but she's obviously distressed. You can take the deal or walk away, I instruct her. Be assured, I can get you out of this mess. I point to the blood that is pooling at her feet. I will even teach you how to use that stone properly, with your word that you will accompany me to Moran. I cross my arms in front of my chest. This whore better not waste my time. Finding another unmarked mage may take another lifetime. She takes a deep breath in and mutters, Done. What am I doing? She's clearly untrained and unpredictable. Use your magic to levitate the body and throw it into the sea. I can cover up the blood with the seething potion. I ramble as I lean down to examine the mess. She gives me a puzzled look and admits, I don't know how to levitate. I shouldn't be surprised. But then I glance upwards and finally see her face clearly. Her dark hair complements her copper skin and eyes. She's taller than expected, and her shapely body is no leaf in the wind. However you have to do it, move the body and let me work, I answer gruffly. To my surprise, she hoists one half of the body over her shoulder and drags a leg across the cobblestone with her free arm. I don't bother to check whether she makes it to the cliff, because I hear the splash of the body moments later. I pull out a seething potion and begin the incantation I've memorized from years of studying. I quickly down the potion and place my hands on the bloody crime scene spread across the cobblestones. My eyes shut as the mending magic flows through my hands onto the surface below. The blood on the street responds like any other body part. When I open my eyes, I'm not surprised to see that all remnants of blood have disappeared. The horror returns to my side and looks amazed. Follow me, I direct her. Where are we going? Out of this city, as quickly as possible, I say over my shoulder as I head towards the tunnels with the mage in tow.